Imagine being lost in the vastness of space, alone and uncertain. Picture yourself adrift in an endless sea of darkness, surrounded by a silent symphony of stars. This is the predicament of our protagonist. He finds himself in a void, a vast celestial ocean with no land in sight, no compass to guide him, no map to chart his course. He is not a space explorer or an astronaut, yet he finds himself in a situation oddly reminiscent of a cosmic journey. He is in a place where the familiar rules of time and space are suspended. Every direction looks the same. Every path leads to more of the unknowable. He is lost, disoriented, and desperate for something, anything, that might give him a sense of direction, a sense of purpose. But it's not the physical location that's truly disconcerting. It's the echoing silence, the unshakable solitude, the creeping sense of insignificance in the face of such vastness. It's the realization that he is alone with his thoughts, his fears, and his hopes. It's the dawning understanding that he is adrift not in the physical universe, but in the uncharted territories of his own mind. This man's journey is not across light years of space, but through the complex corridors of his inner self. His challenge is not to navigate the cosmos, but to navigate the labyrinth of his psyche. His quest is not to find his way home through the stars, but to find his way back to himself. The man is lost, yes, but not in the way you might think. He is not lost among the stars, but lost within himself. The vastness he experiences is not the vastness of the cosmos, but the vastness of his own consciousness. It's a metaphorical space, a psychological expanse where he must confront his own fears, his own doubts, and his own potential. The stars are his only companions, their distant glow a cold comfort in the emptiness. As days turn into weeks, the man grapples not only with his physical situation, but also his internal turmoil. The expanse of space, with its infinite darkness and deafening silence, is a mirror reflecting the man's inner world. A world consumed by loneliness and isolation, a world where his own thoughts and emotions are his only companions. In this vast cosmic abyss, he grapples with questions that pierce the very core of his being. Who is he? What is his purpose? Is he more than a mere speck in the grand scheme of the universe? These questions, once mere whispers in the back of his mind, now echo loudly in the silence of the void. The solitude of space is not just a physical reality, but a metaphor for his internal state. He's alone, not just in this cosmos, but within himself. His own mind, once a familiar territory, has now become an uncharted expanse. He is a stranger to himself, lost in the intricate labyrinth of his thoughts and emotions. The man begins to question his reality. Is he truly lost in space, or is he lost within himself? The line between the external and internal blurs. The emptiness of space and the emptiness within him become indistinguishable. His struggle is not against the harsh conditions of space, but against the harsh realities of his own mind. As he delves deeper into his psyche, he realizes that his external situation is but a reflection of his internal state. His loneliness is not a product of his physical isolation, but of his emotional and mental detachment. He is alone because he feels alone. The man's struggle is not just a battle for survival, but a quest for self-discovery and self-understanding. It is a journey into the depths of his psyche, where he must confront his fears, insecurities, and self-doubts. In the silence of space, the whisperings of his mind become deafening. The man is not alone, he is with himself, and that is his greatest challenge and his greatest ally. But what if space isn't just a physical entity, but a state of mind? A profound question that changes our perspective, isn't it? Let's consider the possibility that our man isn't lost in the cosmic abyss, but rather in the labyrinth of his own mind. His journey isn't about traversing the cold, sterile expanse of the universe, but about navigating the complex maze within himself. The space he's in isn't filled with stars and galaxies, but with thoughts, emotions, and memories, both beautiful and haunting. Now imagine this space as a representation of his internal void. It's not an external landscape he's lost in, but an internal one. The emptiness he feels isn't because of a lack of physical entities around him, but a disconnection from his own self. A disconnection so profound it makes him feel alien in his own mind. This internal universe is just as vast and intimidating as the cosmos. It's a place where thoughts orbit like planets, emotions flare up like supernovas, and memories drift around like asteroids. It's a place of profound solitude, where he's the only inhabitant, lost and trying to find his way. The space he perceives is a mirror reflecting his own feelings of emptiness, loneliness, and disconnection. The infinite expanse around him is a metaphor for the infinite depth within him. The silence of space is the silence of his own emotions, suppressed and unexpressed. The darkness around him is the darkness within him, the parts of himself he doesn't want to confront. So what if the journey he's on isn't about finding his way back to Earth, but about finding his way back to himself? What if his navigational tools aren't meant for star maps, but for mapping the uncharted territories of his own psyche? In this light, the man isn't lost in space. He's lost within himself, and his quest isn't about survival in a hostile environment, but about understanding and accepting himself. What if the stars he's navigating aren't in the sky, but within his own psyche? In the depth of his despair, a realization dawns on the man. His heart pounds like a drum, resonating with an epiphany that shakes his very core. An understanding, as profound as it is terrifying, seizes him. His struggle isn't about navigating the endless expanse of space. No, it's far more personal, far more intimate. It's about finding his way within himself. A shiver of understanding courses through him, as if he's walking barefoot on a frosty morning. He's been running, sprinting away from his own feelings, his own fears. The vastness of space, the endless darkness, the sense of being lost. They're all metaphors for his own emotions, his own internal turmoil. The man has been a fugitive of his emotions. But now he realizes that evasion is futile, perhaps even detrimental. He needs to confront his feelings, embrace them, accept them. He cannot simply navigate around them as if they were asteroids in space. He must journey through them, journey within them. As this realization sinks in, the suspense lifts. The audience, too, understands the true nature of the man's situation. It's not about surviving in space. It's about surviving within his own psyche. The man's struggle, his journey, is psychological, not physical. It's a journey of self-discovery, of self-acceptance. The man is not lost in the universe. He's lost within himself. The space he's been trying to navigate isn't the vast expanse of the cosmos. It's the vast expanse of his own emotions, his own fears, his own hopes. The man has been trying to chart a course through his own psyche, his own soul. As the man grapples with this revelation, a sense of calm descends upon him. He understands now. He sees the path he must tread. The darkness he's been navigating isn't around him, but within him. He's not lost in space. He's lost in himself. And now he must find his way out. With realization comes the power to change. A profound truth that echoes throughout the cosmos, but more importantly, within the man himself. He stands at the precipice of his internal void, a vast expanse that once seemed terrifying and insurmountable. The man, once lost, now holds the compass of understanding in his hands. He recognizes that he has been running, not from the cold void of space, but from his own feelings. Feelings of fear, of loneliness, of despair. These emotions, once hidden in the shadows of his mind, are now illuminated by the light of self-awareness. He no longer views them as enemies to be defeated, but as companions on his journey to self-discovery. The man makes a decision to stop running, to face his feelings head-on. He chooses to embrace them, to understand them, to accept them. This is no easy task. It takes courage to face one's fears, to confront one's demons. But he knows that the only way out of his internal void is to fill it not with fear, but with acceptance, understanding, and love. And so he begins to change. His change is not sudden, not dramatic. It is slow, gradual, like the quiet unfolding of a new dawn. He learns to accept his feelings, to understand them, to love them. He learns to love himself. He learns to fill his internal void with self-awareness, acceptance, and love. The man, once lost in the vastness of his internal void, now finds himself. He finds the courage to change, the strength to accept, the wisdom to understand. He is not the same man who was lost in the void. He is a man reborn, a man found. In the vastness of his internal space, the man finds the courage to change. He isn't lost anymore, but found. He has discovered that the most important journey is not the one that takes us across the cosmos, but the one that leads us within.